Me now to discuss this further is Hasan Erel, a journalist and writer who's based in Izmir, Turkey. Mr. Erel, thank you very much indeed for joining us on Prime Time. Turkey then warning Moscow and Kyiv to keep energy infrastructure out of the conflict. What prompted this from Ankara?
Yes, actually, this attacks on the oil tankers occurred in the economic, or we can say Turkish wider waters, these two attacks. So this is a attack on Turkey also. I mean, we are not, Turkey is not in this war. And Turkey doesn't acknowledge the embargo of United States and EU or United Kingdom. So this is a hostile action Ukraine against Turkey. But it's not only Ukraine. I mean, we know that from the beginning, all the naval war for Ukraine is controlled by the United Kingdom. The drones, the sea drones, are from the United Kingdom. So there's a bigger issue in this situation. The first one, it's against all the trade, the global trade. It's a hostile action on the global trade. And secondly, it's a hostile action towards against Turkey. We have to add that there's another incident in the Senegal. You know, it was a Turkish tanker, and it was sabotage in the sea. It was a Turkish tanker carrying Russian oil, which United States call illegally the shadow fleet, or what it's not written in the law and anywhere. Their media propaganda is only because Turkey, I repeat it, is not a side of this war. Turkey doesn't accept this embargo on Russian oil. So Turkey is not part of this war. Turkey is a NATO member.
As you rightly say, Hasan, there've been a series of attacks now, haven't there, on tankers? I mean, what do we know about the detail of these incidents? And actually, what do we think this says about the future risks that this may pose to shipping routes? Because, of course, a significant portion of the global economy is predicated on shipping routes. I mean, presumably the ripple effects of fear and uncertainty about the security of shipping routes could start to cause huge problems.
Of course. When we look at the history, even before the Second World War, in 1938, I think in Mediterranean or Mediterranean Sea and other seas, there was attacks against the shippings, trade ships, even in 1938. And nobody was aware of who was attacking these ships. But there was, it's the signal of the World War. It was the signal of the World War, the attacks against the global trade, especially in the sea shipping trade. So this kind of like that, but because we know that the United States is trying to make a deal with Russia and tries to end this war. I'm not sure it can happen, but we know that Trump is always saying that I will finish this, put an end to this Ukraine war. But United Kingdom and Europe is against this Trump's decision. So they try to sabotage the peace deal. So I think it's kind of a threat of the European NATO, or we can call them NATO without United States or whatever, because even the NATO is, I think, is coming to a decision time. You know, United States is not acting as a NATO member, and the other European countries and the United Kingdom is acting as another side or group. So we see that there's a big split in the West, and the usual suspect is always the British for me. And of course, we cannot ignore Germany and France, but especially I told you before that this place in Black Sea region and the Mediterranean is the Ukrainian naval force is organized by British Secret Service or Army. So it's kind of a threat against the world, global world trade and the peace, of course, because if nobody can be safe about the shipping, the trade will get a big problem.
It's I have to say your characterization of this coordinated effort by Europe, the UK, and others. There will be some obviously who disagree with that. What is indisputable, though, is that Turkey is facing a significant challenge as a result of what's happened. They're obviously stressing that oil and gas flows must remain uninterrupted. How is Turkey dealing with the pressure? How does it now make sure that those corridors remain open and remain secure?
Yeah, Turkey has some kind of power for this. You know, the Turkey is on the way on the corridor for grain corridor for Ukraine. So Turkey can close the grain corridor if they repeat these actions, because we know that another thing that proves this is against especially Turkey, because Turkey is buying oil and gas from Russia and Novorossiysk, and there's a Turkish stream, of course. They don't attack the Greek tankers, Greek ships, but the most of the oil from Russia is carrying by the Greek ships. But they don't attack the Greek ships. They attack the Turkish ship in Senegal and in the two Gambia, I think, but it's Russian ships in the Turkish region. So it shows the target of these attacks also. So Turkey can close this grain corridor. It's a very big deal for Ukraine, and we know that in Ukraine it's the government is coming to an end. Zelensky and his government and his best man, the Yermak, is now accused by big corruption, and it will goes to also the European countries. I think soon we will see this European Union will be, I think, questioned about this the money trafficking for Zelensky in this 3 years period. So there's a really serious panic in the room.
I was going to say, I mean, even for those who disagree with your analysis, one thing that is certain is that there is uncertainty, there's concern, there may in places be, as you say, that panic. What is the result of all of that on regional stability and security?
As I said before, it's not good. It's the beginning of maybe the wider war. I don't know. It's because the leaders are in a panic mood. If this Ukraine war comes to an end, there will be big questions, starting from Zelensky and the other leaders. And Trump is doing that. I mean, Trump knows how will be the consequences after the finishing of end of this war. So everybody will be questioned. So these people will lose their seats. So they are trying to sabotage the peace plan, and they are trying to make a threat to everyone that they can do very bad things if the Trump or the other or Russia or pushing their way too much.
Okay.
Even they, talking about the preemptive strike. There's an Italian admiral was talking about this preemptive strike, especially NATO guy. So we can say that he's talking not for United States, but he's talking for European NATO. So there's a big split in the West. So everything can happen. We are in a situation it's very look-alike before the Second World War, because the economic situation, the global economy is not good. There's a crisis. We can see that from the silver and gold prices, and the pressure is getting bigger and bigger every day. This attacks is also a sign of that.
Okay.
I think.
Mr. Erel, it's been very interesting hearing your analysis. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Okay, after the break, we check in with our correspondents around the world for the very latest developments from their regions. Do stay with us.